Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it is tier list time. Every single card from the mini set has been revealed. We've reviewed them all. I've read almost all of them correctly. And today we're gonna rate them either from S through F, S being God tier, auto include in your deck, and F being garbage. And we'll see how horribly inaccurate this is. And of course, we'll have a template down below if you want to fill it out and tell me how the cards are really being rated. And we are giving away 4 mini sets out of my pocket. To enter that giveaway, like and comment in the video, link down in the description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribe to the channel, and for every 1,000 subs we get until on Tuesday when the mini set comes out, I'll add another mini set to that giveaway. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. So starting off, we have the Helm of Humiliation, new Deathlight spell, double blood, shadow, give a minion a -5, a -5, and you also give a minion in your hand +5/+5. I think, again, hand buff Deathlight's been really close to being good. I don't know if you want to go double blood on Holy, but you can still run the hero card and the Puppeteer, which are absolutely crucial to that deck. It's a pretty nice, like, hard removal for anything with 5 health or effectively 5 attack unless they buff it up. I'm gonna give it a B. I think it could slot into those decks. They're super close, and I'm really interested to see if hand buff Deathlight can go over the top, especially considering they're also getting the Toy Snatching Geist, a 3 mana 2/1 Gigantify minion. Battle Cry, discovered undead, reduce its cost by this minion's attack. The new keyword this mini set is Gigantify. If the card says that, you get an 8 mana 8/8 version of the same card. So basically, it's 4 cards in one. You get a 2/1 and 8/8, and you can discover undeads and discount them by 2 or 8 or even more if it's been hand buffed. I think it's a really solid card, nice value. You can play it in hand buff, do some good stuff, and because it's undeads, you're likely to be able to hand buff those cards too, because, you know, you're buffing all undeads for the most part with a lot of these cards. I'm giving it an A, and will be an absolute terror in the arena. Next, we have the last Deathlight card, the Foam Render, 5 mana 5/1 weapon. Whenever your hero attacks, spend 3 corpses to gain +1 durability. Basically, as long as you have 3 corpses, this weapon never stops. And every time you get an extra durability, you're buffing your Climactic Necrotic Explosion, making for a really good payoff in your end game. Obviously, a Viper is pretty sad to go against this or getting frozen, but the fact you could get another one of these from like Runes of Darkness, other Discover effects, I feel like it's just a really good corpse spender plus damage output. I'm not super high on the card, but I think it could make those fringe rainbow lists. I am gonna give it a B. We have the return policy for Demon Hunter. Discover a friendly death rattle card. You've played this game, triggered death rattle. Unlike 9 lives, you don't have to have the minion die. You don't have to even have it be a minion. It could be a weapon. And that could be pretty good with like an Umpire's Grasp or CCG. I don't think it really pops up in anything at the moment. And even in Wild, a lot of the death rattle strategies are actually built around summoning cards rather than playing, which this doesn't work. There's the downside of if the minions just died, it was never played, it can be a bit of a downside. I'll give it a C, but it's certainly a card I could see emerging in the future with more death rattle support. Next, we have the Sock Puppet Slither Spear for Demon Hunter, 1 mana 1/3 Naga. This minion's attack is improved by your hero, so you twin slice in Wild, I guess. Is twin slice standard? I don't think so. But like a weapon, any attack buff, this can just be a huge threat. It's a premium statted tribal minion that works well with, you know, a sharpshooter. Just gonna be an auto include 1-drop in any aggressive Demon Hunter deck going forward. It's super insanely good. You're gonna auto include this in, yeah, basically any Demon Hunter deck, even like the non-aggressive ones. Why not? It's an early minion that if you hero power, it's a 2/3. That alone, really solid. This is an absolute S tier card for me. We'll see tons of play. You have the Gibbering Reject, a 4 mana 3/3 demon for Demon Hunter. After your hero attacks, summon another Gibbering Reject. So you attack once, you get 2 3/3s. Those live, you attack again, you get 2 more, so you got like 4 more on the board. It's not a copy, so let's say you window shopper and get a 6/5 version of this, it'll still just summon a 3/3 instead, so you don't got that going for it. But overall, pretty good annoying snowball minion that I feel like will be more of the created by option, if anything, in those style of Demon Hunter decks. I'll give it a B. It might actually, no, we're gonna go down to a C. I don't think it sees play or competitive play, but in arena, really good. And again, you're gonna see it off Window Shopper regardless because it is a demon, and Window Shopper pretty darn good. Next, we have the Snuggle Teddy, a 2 or 3 mana 2/4 Gigantify Beast for Druid. It has Elusive, Lifesteal, Taunt, so you can't target this with hero power or spells, and you also get the giant version, which is an 8 mana 8/8 version of the same thing. Pretty annoying to deal with. You can't target it very well. It's got lifesteal, so it could be a lot of healing, but there's not a lot of synergies going on for this card that I could think of. Maybe you slot it into Highlander just to help your curve out, maybe, you know, defend yourself, get a bit of healing. But overall, I'm gonna give it a C. I think it's more of an arena card for me. Next, we have the Overgrown Beanstalk. You summon a 2/2 Treant, and then you draw a card for each Treant you control. So right away, it's at least 3 mana, a 2/2, draw a card. That's okay. If you have one more Treant on the board, it's pretty good. You have anything more than that, this card's great. Treants aren't amazing right now, but this is such a powerful card that can like literally draw 7 cards potentially. Again, it's gonna be really hard to do that in the standard metagame, but it's a card that I cannot rate lowly, whether it sees a lot of play now or later when there's more Treant support. I'm giving it an A. I think this will be a staple in Druid for like the next year and a half, especially probably next set that get Treants. They like to put stuff in the mini set and then the next expansion give it that support. And then we got my boy Tyrantus or Toyrantus, this 6 mana 7/7 legendary Druid beast has Taunt, Elusive, Battle Cry. So it's like an Omega card if you remember those. If you have 10 mana crystals, gain +7/+7. It's already better than Ogre right out the gate, although it does die to BGH and the Black Knight. But regardless, it's a 6 mana 7/7 Taunt with Elusive right out the gate. That's totally fine, playable. And then once you're at 10 crystals after like a crystal cluster, this is a 6 mana 14/14 non-targetable taunt that will lock out a lot of decks. I feel like this is auto-include in like a Highlander deck. I don't know if it goes more to like, it's even maybe Dragon Druid just puts this as a threat to have. You never know. I think this card sees significant play. I'm gonna give him an A, and it's probably just because I just really like Toyrantus. Next, we have the Wilderness Pack for Hunter. It's 1 mana. You add 5 a random beast to your hand at the end of your turn. Discard them. It's okay. Average beast, you could probably play like 1 or 2 if you're like at 6 or 7 mana. But I mean, is Hunter really struggling? You got like Ball of Spiders, which most lists don't even run. It's just, I don't think a card you're gonna play, even in those Reno Hunters, unreliable, and you just get a lot of just, you know, useless garbage. Even though it's 1 mana, I think it's more of a fringe card, and I'm going to give it a C. We have the Bargain Bin, a new Hunter secret. After your opponent plays a minion, a spell, or a weapon, draw a card of the other 2 types. So almost always you're gonna get either a minion and a weapon or a spell and a weapon, right? Most decks are playing minions and spells, and the odd one is playing a weapon. Remember when you could play around secrets? Yeah, play around this one by playing only locations in the hero cards. Good luck with that. This is an incredibly good card. Basically guaranteed 2 mana draw 2 that specifically tutors out a weapon like a Starstorm Bow, which gets discounted by this card alone. Insanely good card. I think it's auto include in almost any Hunter deck going forward because they don't always have the best draw, and this is just draw that's always going to go. The only downside is it's delayed. You'll have to wait for your opponent's turn to get those cards, but still, I'm giving this an S. I think that, again, one of the best cards of the mini set. And then we have Product 9, the new Hunter Legendary. Battle Cry, you recast every friendly secret that triggered this game. It's a 5 mana 4/4 mech beast. Throwback to good old Subject 9 that used to draw secrets. I just don't see the secret pool being good enough right now in standard to really justify playing this card. Unless the new secret just that good that you want to play this and that, and maybe like 1 or 2 other secrets, and then the value's great. Like, why not? It might be worth it, but overall, I'm gonna give it a lower B. That'll be like more of a fringe legendary option, but I think as, you know, the standard rotation goes, more secrets are added, the better it's gonna get, and I think in Wild is a lot better where there's way more good secrets and synergies. We have Malfunction, the Mage spell, 2 mana arcane spell, deal 3 damage among all enemy minions. If your deck has no minions, you deal 3 more. Guaranteed 6 damage to minions only on turn 2. No Mini Mage has a big weakness of early AoE right now. This helps it out a lot. That deck isn't great. I don't know if this will elevate it enough, but I'm going to give it a B because I really want No Mini Mage to work, and it is a pretty darn good card. You buy 1, get 1 freeze, the 3-mana Frost spell. Freeze a minion, summon a frozen copy of it. It's like a worse reverberations, except there's a possibility with like the 4-mana elemental that draws a frost spell. This could be 0 mana, and then you throw it on Sif, and all of a sudden your 1-mana oils you could actually play alongside that Sif, murder your opponent. I think that's the main usage of this card right now, because reverb for the most part is just better, especially with Titans. You can actually act right away, rather with this you can't. I'll still give it a B for that fringe Sif possibility, because yeah, I think that's a reality. And if reverb wasn't a card, this card would probably be pretty nuts. It's just like it's fighting for that reverb spot. We have the Dark Moon Magician, a 3-mana 2/4. Elusive minion. After you cast a spell, cast a random spell that costs 1 more. I feel like you're gonna get this off the 4-mana no minion mage spell more than anything, rather than hard running this as like a crazy card. But it's insane in terms of like, you know, the fun value of it. You play it, you don't know what's gonna happen. It can't target itself, so it's not super likely to destroy itself. Still, probably not ultra competitive, probably more of a meme card. I'll give it a C, but hey, maybe it pops up and is actually a good card. We have the Whack-A-Knoll, 1-mana Paladin spell, discover a Paladin weapon from the past, give it +1/+1. Vine Cleaver is kind of the nuts with this, but there's a lot of bad weapons in Wild. It's a mix. I don't think it'll be reliable enough that you really want to hard run this card outside of maybe a Highlander deck. Again, I'm more of a believer of this card than most people. I'm gonna give it a B, but it likely won't be much of a meta player. We have the Holy Glow Sticks, a 4-mana Paladin spell, holy spell at that. It has lifesteal and deals 4 damage, and it costs 1 if you cast a holy spell this turn, not 1 less. I misread that before. I'm sorry, my Canucks had just won that night. I couldn't handle it. I was too excited. Anyways, yeah, a lot better than 1 less. You play any holy spell, it's 1 mana, really nice and flexible, can go face, you can use it as removal, it's some nice sustain. I think the Reno decks run it as a 1-of. Other than that, probably not making the cut since the holy spells are more aggressive, and I don't know if you want this with the aggressive list, although it can go face, so I'll give it a high B. I don't think it's an A, but certainly a card that, yeah, maybe that 1-mana deal 4, it's like Soulfire without the discard, you just have to trigger it with something else. Maybe it's pretty good. And Holy Glow Sticks can activate Holy Glow Sticks, 5-mana deal 8, pretty good, right? We have the Flickering Lightbot, 3-mana 3/3 mech with Gigantify. It costs 1 less for each holy spell you've cast this game. If you've cast 3 spells, this is 0. The 8-mana 8/8 version, you gotta, you know, play 8, and that's gonna be basically impossible with a standard holy spell pull. They're really not very good. This card to me is insane, as long as there's good holy spells, and we're kind of lacking them other than the 4-mana 1 in like Crusader's Aura. Guess you could run like a lot of other cards you just don't want to run right now. I'm still gonna give it a B. Like, this could be like an S tier card in the right meta. Imagine Libra Paladin got this. It'd be insane there, but that's Wild, and my tier list is based on standard. I'll give it a B, although I kind of want to give it an A. We also have next the Delayed Product, a 4-mana pre-spell, discover and summon a minion that costs 8 or more. It goes dormant for 2 turns. You don't even add this copy to your hand. It's just summoned on the board. There's a lot of crappy 8/8s and like just nothings. There's not a ton of good hits. You got like the Rags, Obsidian Revenant, like Factory Assembly Bot are the main good hits. It's not good at all. This gets my my first F of this tier list. Poor Priest. It just isn't good enough. Next, we have the Fun House Mirror, another pre-spell. Shadow spell, summon a copy of an enemy minion. It attacks the original. So like a throwback to Soul Mirror, except it's 1 minion, can be really nice on a big Titan. And if it doesn't die, you get to use its effect is really good. It's a pseudo hard removal with a possible to get some value out of it. I think it's okay. Control Priest not doing a lot, and I just don't see that card elevating it to the point of playability, but I will give it a low B. I think it'll pop up over time. I'm just not sure if that time is now. And we have the Puppet Theater, a card that's gonna drive me crazy. I don't even know if it's good, but it's a 4-mana priest location where you choose an enemy minion and you get a 1/1 copy of it that costs 1. This has 2 uses, so for 4 mana, you can just steal my good stuff and use it. It can also just be a dead card against like an aggressive deck. I don't care about stealing their token. That doesn't help me out, but maybe it's a Zilliax. That could be pretty good. It doesn't remove anything. It is pure greed, and it's just, oh, I can just imagine. I'm gonna give it a B. I know it's gonna pop up in lists just to trigger me, and yeah, it's just pure greed. That's all it is, but you get punished for playing good stuff. Isn't that fun? No, it isn't. Screw priest. Anyways, we have the Dust Bunny, a 3-mana 3/2 beast for rogue, battle cry, and death rattle. Add a random piece of junk to your hand, which is a coin, a rock, a banana, or a knife, which is like the Valera hero power. It's okay. You get 2 cards for 3 mana. I guess you could Shadow Step it and get some more junk. I mean, the rock's pretty good. 1 mana, deal 3. A coin is nice. Only the banana and knife are not amazing, but you can use them. Again, probably not good enough to make the cut in today's game, but will be a solid arena pick, so we'll give it a C. We have the Twisted Pack, a 1 mana spell for rogue. Add 5 random cards from other classes to your hand at the end of your turn. Discard them. In standard, pretty nice with your Cutlass, right? Buffing that up, maybe with your tests. I feel like those decks probably use it. It's okay. You never know what you're going to get, but you'll probably get a couple playable cards. In Wild, to get 0 mana Null on turn 1. You quest complete the Old Doom quest on turn 1. That's pretty nuts, but in terms of standard, I think it pops up. I don't think it's a C. I'm giving it a B. But overall, again, not too crazy on the high side. We have the Dubious Purchase, a 4 mana rogue spell, draw 3 cards, combo, destroy a random enemy minion. The combo part of it, not amazingly relevant. I feel like it's just really good card draw with a bit of an upside. Really nice card with prep. It's 2 mana, draw 3, kill something. This is going in every rogue deck, like period. It's just going in every standard rogue deck where it's just a really good card draw card. And I think rogue, they like to draw cards. So yeah, we'll give it an S. I imagine this will be, again, a staple in Rogue for quite some time in Standard, because Secret Passage is in Wild. You know, you can't have that here. We have the Rocket Hopper, a 5 mana 10/10 Shaman Beast with Rush and Overload 4. You can like overdraft or whatever and deal 4. That's pretty good. And get a 5 mana 10/10. It probably isn't worth running that combo, but it is the biggest 5-drop ever, which is pretty darn rad. And he's not orange, and that's fine because his art isn't orange. And the flavor text made a joke about that. I'm gonna give it a C. I don't see it seeing play, but it's a pretty cool card. We have the Murloc Growfin, a 1 mana 1/1 Murloc with Gigantify, Battle Cry, summon a Tiny Fin with Rush and stats equal to this minion. So standalone, you get a 1 mana 1/1 and another 1 mana 1/1 with Rush. That's really good. That's good. You hand buff it, it's even better. And then you got your 8/8, which gives you another 8/8. That's great. You play Shutter Block, you got 3 of them. That's amazing. This card's just sweet. It could go into aggro decks, it could go into mid-range decks, it could be a more of a late game thing in like your Highlander deck. I'm gonna give this an S. I think it's gonna go into whatever Shaman deck in Standard. It's just a really versatile, really solid card, and the 8/8 version's really swole. Why didn't they call it Murloc Swolefin? That would have been even better. Next, we have the Wave of Nostalgia, which I don't think I misread this. This is just inconsistent wording, where it's a 5 mana nature spell, transform all minions into random legendary ones from the past. Compared to the Excavate reward, you'd think would be everything. It's only the board, and that does include the enemy board, your board. So it could be like a pseudo weird removal, but also buff for their board, depending on what you get. Kind of a meme, although you have like Flash of Lightning. It's like 0 mana, summon some frogs, and then play Wave of Nostalgia for 4 mana. Maybe that's something, but overall, I'm gonna give it a C. But I don't think I misread this one. I think the wording is just inconsistent, and I'm sticking to it. We have the Domino Effect, a 3 mana spell for Warlock, where you deal 2 damage to a minion, repeat to the left or right, dealing 1 more damage each time. So you pick the leftmost minion, it always goes to the right all the way till it's done, doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Or you go in the middle, it's random, and then you're just gonna see it go one way or the other. We've seen this effect with Rolling Fireball, which was really good, and this doesn't peter out, it just gets stronger. Will make your opponents have to think about how they position their minions. Really cool card, and I think a very effective board clear. I'm gonna give it an A, a high A, not quite an S. It could absolutely be that, and man, Warlock has some good AoE right now. We have the new Demon, the Infernal, throwback to Jiraxis, 4 mana 6/6, Battle Cry, set your hero's remaining health to 15. It's got Taunt. It could be a heal if you're really low in health. You could likely put your health lower. Doesn't work with Molten Giant, doesn't work with the Prison Horror. feel like it's more of a meme, a throwback. Maybe you cheat it out with your Rin and you don't get the negative of that battle cry. But overall, I'm gonna say it's a meme for now, but maybe you played an even lock in while and you're not too upset about it, but we're gonna give it a C. Actually, the mass production, the infinite card draw spell for Warlock, where you draw 2 cards, you deal 3 damage to your hero, shuffle 2 copies of this into your deck, maybe in Wild the Demon Seed. It's pretty nuts. I feel like paying Warlock can justify this just to draw, just to get their Molten Giant out faster, their Prison Horror out faster. They just cycle, although at a certain point, you're just gonna draw mass production. Into mass production, you're gonna fill your deck with crap and also self-damage. It's a weird one. I'm gonna give it a fringe playability, a low B, but maybe it's insane. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this one. This one is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out in both Standard and Wild. We have the standardized pack for Warrior. 1 mana, add 5 random taunt minions to your hand. At the end of your turn, discard them. Taunt minions are not flexible. They're not usually that good. And Taunt Warrior is not going to happen, Blizzard. Not yet. And this ain't doing it. I'm giving it an F. I don't know what Warrior deck wants to play it. I don't even think Taunt Warrior, which isn't even a deck right now at all, at least competitive, would want to run it. So no, I'm not giving it anything higher than an F, all right? We have the Safety Expert, a 10 mana 8/8 mech, which is Rush, Death Rattle, shuffle 3 bombs into your opponent's deck. And you can cheat this out with a spell we'll look at in a second, but I feel like you want to cheat out other mechs, and also bombs are not what they used to be. Rather, just shuffle in TNTs because they just destroy your opponent's hopes and dreams. This just deals like 15 damage. You can bring it back with the Mentor Boom, but overall, I think there's just better mechs. It's gonna get a C from me. We have the Part Scrapper, 2 mana warrior spell, lose up to 5 armor. Our next mech costs that much less. You play this on turn 2 or 1 with the coin with safety goggles, and then I could cheat out Ziliax, possibly that turn, and just scam. Or I could cheat out the Test Dummy or whatever for like 1 mana or whatever big mech for like nothing. It's ridiculous. I don't love mana cheat cards like this, and I feel like this is going to be an absolutely insane card. It gets an S from me. And yeah, maybe when Bran inevitably gets nerfed or the leaks are true and he's getting nerfed, we'll find out soon, by the way. Yeah, this might be the new strat Warrior really focuses on. We have the Replicator, a Nader. Speaking of a mech you can cheat out, 5 mana neutral legendary with miniaturize Gigantify. After you play a minion with the same attack as this, summon a copy of it, so you can get copies of a 5/5, a 1/1, an 8/8, or if you buffed it or magneticize it, whatever you want, you can do crazy stuff. The main thing that stands out to me is Goldbeard. It'll just fill the board with Goldbeards, and like 5 of them will go face or attack things. That might just be a combo in itself. That's pretty scary to look out for. There's also giants and who knows what else. I think this card will find a way somewhere. It's getting an A from me. Next, we have Puppet Master Dorian, the 4 mana 2/6 neutral legendary. After you draw a minion, get a 1/1 copy of it that costs 1. With a Sonya, it's insane. With a Titan, it's insane. With almost any good effect card, this can be utterly broken because not only do you get that original minion, you get a 1/1 version of it, and you have classes like Rogue that have Gear Shift or can tutor out a specific pirate, get a 1 mana Goldbeard. I don't know how this card's not going to break the game in some way. It gets an absolute S tier rating from me. We have the Explodeneer, 3 mana 2/4 at the end of your turn. Shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. It explodes for 5 damage. I don't know what you're doing with this. This wouldn't even be good back when Bomb Warrior was the thing. I guess you play it for redundancy. It's a bit better than the 5-drop Battle Cry, I guess. But overall, I don't see the point in this card. Bombs ain't a thing, and this doesn't even shut off Highlander anymore, so it's gonna get an F from me. We have the Building Block Golem, a 5 mana 6/3 rush minion. Death Rattle, summon 3 random 1-cost minions. I feel like maybe Death Knight could run this as a fringe option for some tokens. I don't think Paladin cares to like Crusader or is this. It's mostly an arena card, so I'm gonna give it a very low C. And lastly, we have the Pro Gamer, a 2 mana 2/3 epic neutral battle cry. Challenge your opponent to a game of rock, paper, scissors. The winner draws 2 cards, so if you tie, nobody gets anything, and it's just pretty hilarious, pretty cool. The thing is, unless you're a true pro gamer, you're gonna get a downside of this card like 2/3 of the time, whether it just draws nothing or 2 for your opponent, and it's also a delayed effect. You play it, your opponent then has to play the game with you, then you get those cards, so it's not quite the same as just drawing 2 cards. It's a cool card. It's S tier. if you're a pro gamer, but if you're like me, yeah, it's probably more of like a C tier memes. So there you go. Those are my ratings for Inventor Boobs or Dr. Boobs Inventions mini set. Let me know in the comments down below what you agree with, disagree with. We're expecting the patch notes tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And then the mini set goes live on Tuesday. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.